Chris, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, definitely.
So I just found out you're 38, so we're both from 87.
Yeah.
And both from Orange County, Santa Ana.
Yeah, man.
So
yeah, that's crazy.
Advanced marketers. So you have advanced marketers. That's how we met. I have my construction company. And, it's funny how we met because it's like I tell people how I meet clients, right? I make sure that they see my face, that they check out my website. And you joined one of our calls on the Rosewood group. And then I saw you and I was like, all right, Chris seems like a cool dude. Then I checked your website and then I saw what you did for marketing. And then that's how we started basically talking and, introducing ourselves, right, to each other.
Yeah, that's good to know. A lot of times I don't ask that how people found us. So at that time, I actually was trying to change my strategy because usually what we do is we'll run ads for ourselves. But the business to business, the B2B game, it's a little different than it is with somebody that is like a contractor trying to get clients from their own houses. This is more like business to business, and you have to get in front of them. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to join I'm going to join this group. I'm going to see what's up. I mean, he seems like a cool guy. Everybody's talking about, Danny. Danny's popular. And I'm like, if I'm going to talk to anybody, I'm going to talk to Danny.
Yeah, us contractors we're always busy.
Yeah.
And, I get a lot of DMs, a lot of messages about marketing and stuff. And, it goes back to the basics, right? You see people, you talk to people, and you want to do business with those people, right? And I feel like that's how it was good on your part to jump on that call. And we kind of snowballed through an event together in Orange County, which was great. It was dude, we sold it out like
that was quick too. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 weeks, right? We planned it. Big event. A lot of contractors showed up. A lot of good feedback. It was great. I feel like we're doing some good stuff out here. A lot of people, there's a big space right now for entrepreneurship and business, and a lot of people are educating themselves. And one of the things that always comes up is marketing. Danny, do you know a good marketing company? Do you know a good marketer? And it's hard, dude, to recommend marketers because sometimes they're hit and miss, and they're not gonna come through, and they call you when the bill's up, and it's like, dude, come on, like you haven't called me all month, and all of a sudden you send me the invoice, and it's you need anything on your website?
They hit you up like the day before. Hey, how's everything going? Oh, by the way, then you get charged the next day.
And a lot of people feel like marketing companies are, a lot of people that are doing marketing companies, right? It feels like a popular business to start because people think it's easy.
Yeah.
But what do you think is like what people don't understand about running a marketing company, like what it entails?
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing it for 9 years, like the business, right? We've been in business 9 years. And, going through the 9 years, I've talked to so many marketers that have worked for me and try to start their own company. And a lot of them didn't make it because a lot of times what the theory in marketing is, oh man, this is easy, I can do it. Then they try to run it and they realize, oh damn, this is an actual business, right? A lot of times a marketer, what they want is that dream client, that client that doesn't communicate with them and that's easy and just pays and they can just get them leads. But there's a lot to it. It's not just, hey, let me get you some leads. You have to talk about revenue. You have to hire. And you have to kind of compartmentalize everything. I like to say it's like a production line. Like Ford, they have one person doing each thing and they do it very well. It should be the same way in marketing. One person does the Google business profiles and they're bad.
That's what they do.
Then the other one does the websites and the other one does the automation. And so you set it up that way. You can do it quick and fast because that's what everybody wants is fast. And you can do it more accurately. And you can also look at the KPIs and find out what is the standard? So when you hire someone, you kind of know what it is. And so a marketer, they just know how to run ads. They get creative. They want to start an agency and they realize that it's not as easy as they thought it was.
Yeah, it's like the story where, the lady that was a really good baker, she did really good cakes. And then I read this on a book. People are going to know when I tell the story. I don't remember the name of the book, but I think it was the E-Myth. So she's a baker. She makes really good cakes. And one of her best friends had the bright idea to tell her to start her own business because her cakes were really good. So this baker went from making what she loves to do, which is baking, into being miserable because now she's managing employees, paying the rent, paying the payroll, dealing with employees, and that wasn't her thing. So it's like you say, a lot of people look at the space like, well, I can be a marketing company, or I can be whatever company, but you need to have a certain trait, and you need to have a certain tolerance for pain, for fucking a lot of pain. Um, you need to have that tolerance, because as soon as you hit a rough patch, you're gonna be suicidal. Like, people are gonna want to get themselves out because it's a rough business. Having a business is a rough business, and I always tell people that story because I was guilty of it in the beginning when I started my business. I would tell people too, like, dude, do it for yourself. Don't be stupid. Just do your own business. I'm doing it. Like, you can do it too. But then I realized, like, some people, they just want to be left alone. They don't want to do their own business, and they shouldn't, because it's hard.
Yeah, man, it's tough.
It's not easy.
It's tough. Actually, I found out too, like, I kind of went in there to kind of brand myself a little bit with my shirt and my hat, and then I would just sit there and just kind of come in and drop some game every once in a while when I needed to. But actually, that group really grew into me. I really enjoyed being part of the calls, because I found out that, damn, these businesses are no different than mine. We all go through the same troubles. Every single business does. And it's like, damn, like, yes, it's a different industry, but they have the exact same problems as I do.
And it's all seasons. Yeah. We get busy when we get busy, and then it gets slow when it gets slow. And I learned as well with the mentorship group, is not everything's always greener on the other side, right? We might look at a roofing company because we got a couple of roofers in the group. Like, oh, they're killing it. We should go into roofing. But it's like, roofing has their own issues. Just like my company has my own issues. Just like, cleaning companies have their own issues. Every business has, a set of issues that need to be solved and worked on. So I'm a big believer on working on your business, perfecting your craft, and not deviating too much from what you're doing already, because that's when you spread yourself thin. You take away from the energy and time of what you're already building, because what you're already building, it's gonna work. It just takes time.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but dude, it's there.
Yeah, like what I do is I have like tunnel vision, or like in sales, like put the blinders on, just like lock in, and that's something that I continue to remind myself about, because I have been approached with a lot of opportunities where it's like, hey, you should do this, or, you should create this company. And technically, like, I've worked with so many companies. I'm the marketer, so I know exactly how they operate their business. If I wanted to, I can try to like do a construction company, but there's a lot of things in that group. I'm realizing that, damn, there's so much behind the scenes, and a lot of the marketers too, they're like, damn, this company's making a killing. They're crushing it. They're getting 10x on their ROAS. I'm like, yeah, bro, that's the revenue. That's not the profit.
Yep.
And that's what they don't understand. And so it's it's crazy.
It's funny because the people that know who's really making money out there are the CPAs.
Yeah.
The ones that run the books. Because I remember, when I was making some outside investments, the CPA told me, he goes, don't get into those investments. Like, those people are always struggling. They're always broke. And, at the end of the day, they're the ones, the financials don't lie. Like you said, people are rolling around in Lamborghinis, Corvettes, and, singing the world. But at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie, right? Your taxes don't lie, and that's how much income you're generating.
Yeah. Them and lawyers.
And lawyers too.
Lawyers, dude. Lawyers. I had a lawyer, and this guy would just call me just to check in on me. And then he's like, hey, is everything fine? I was going through some legal stuff. And then he's like calling me to check in and let me know kind of where they are with the legal stuff. And then he'll ask more questions, like try to be like buddy. And then next thing you know, I'm getting billed. He'll send me a bill. I'm like, dude, what the... Like, I'm paying for you to talk to me.
You have to pay by the minute, like those old school calls.
Yeah, man, $650 an hour.
An hour?
An hour, yeah.
You know what's funny is that doctors and lawyers, even though they can bill really high, like 650 is pretty high. A doctor and lawyer, they make good money, but they're trading their time. for money.
Yeah.
Like if he doesn't call you, he can't bill you. And that's why I'm big on entrepreneurship and having your own business and having your own equity in the business, is because when you open up a business, you're billing for everybody's time, right? For all your employees, everything. If you're a lawyer or a doctor, you can only bill for your time unless you have your own practice. That's where the money's at, right?
Yeah.
So even lawyers and doctors, at the end of the day, they're trading their time. They're very well off. I mean, don't get me wrong, dude. I didn't get an opportunity to go to school and become a lawyer, but it's also they have to trade their time.
Yeah.
So I'm a big proponent in school. Like if you want to go to college and university to figure out stuff, and you have the opportunity, I think it's a good networking thing to do. But sometimes people ask me, Danny, should I go to school or should I help my dad in his business? And sometimes I'm kind of like, dude, like I'm not, I'm not no financial expert or advice, but me knowing what I know in business is, if you go to school for business for 4 years and graduate, when you get out, you're going to start from scratch. But if you at 18 go with your dad and help him for 4 years, in those 4 years, you're already more advanced in business than the guy that just graduated from business, because you've been doing it for 4 years already.
Yeah.
So it all comes with the time and knowledge you invest.
Yeah, I'm seeing a big shift. I speak to a lot of people from these events, and a lot of them are younger, but they're also taking, like, they're starting to work with their pops and with their parents, and their parents are trying to give the business to their children. But a lot of them, because the parents have been kind of like burned by other marketing agencies, or they just didn't understand how to track numbers. They don't know how to run the business. They saying, don't sign up with that guy. Marketing, we don't do marketing. And it's really hard for them to talk their parents into doing marketing, because these kids are filming,
You can't.
Yeah. I mean, I've even drawn up PDFs for a kid. I'm like, dude, like, tell me about you and your dad. Tell me the story. And I just drew up a whole, like, hey, Dad, here's why we have to do marketing. Here's how it's going to help grow the family business, and here's how you're going to be able to give it to me.
No sirve, vas a gastar tu dinero.
Nothing.
You can't. Sometimes, when I get on consultation calls, I get people that tell me, Danny, how do I explain to my dad? I said, don't. Why waste your time? They're not going to get it, because they come from a whole different universe than we do.
Yeah.
Like, I can go spend $5,000 on boots for my employees. I would never in a million years convince my dad or an uncle that does business as well, landscape, to spend that kind of money on boots. Why are you going to buy them boots? They should be happy they have work, because they're old school, because they come from a whole different place where, a lot of the times there was a lot of food insecurity. They didn't have money to eat, so they're more conservative with their money. Us, we're growing up in Saudi Arabia, California, right? There's a shit ton of money here.
Yeah.
So we see the money flow, and we see the investment. We're like, well, I'll buy them boots. It's once a year. If we're making X amount of money, it's a write-off. But old school people, they'll be like, oh my God, they'll fucking die. They'll like, there's no way I'm buying, $5,000 worth of boots for the guy, or a bonus. God forbid you give them a little Christmas bonus. They're going to be like, ¿pa qué? Si el cheque is enough. So they're old school. And I honestly feel like, as entrepreneurs, if you're working with your pops and you're working with an older family member or partner, you're better off doing other stuff than trying to convince them your ways, because they're set on their ways. And that doesn't mean you can't work together or be in business together, but don't waste your time trying to convince them.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to happen.
Yeah, man. Like, when I started my business, it was before COVID. And people before COVID didn't know how to download Zoom. They didn't know how to do all that stuff. It was contractors. And I feel like that really helped build our company, because we had to go through all the older heads to like really like understand how we have to present things to people and be able to work around people not being as like tech savvy. And so after COVID, that's when Zoom was forced and they had to use computers, and that's helped us after.
Had to wear masks.
Yeah.
Now the masks are pretty popular right now. A lot of people wearing masks.
The other day I saw somebody, yesterday, I took my kids and we went to go eat, and then the people next to us were like kind of staring at us, and I don't know, they're walking around us, and they went in their car they weren't wearing masks, but they put masks before they went in the car. And I don't know what the deal was on that. Yeah, we're like, wait, what? So we're starting to see.
Sitting at a restaurant?
They were walking to their car while we were walking out with no mask, but then they like before they went in the car, they pulled their mask out and put it on and went inside the car.
Was it like
I don't know what the idea is behind that, but
really?
yeah, it's a little weird, dude. But yeah, I mean, basically that's kind of what helped us grow a little bit was understanding that we know that parent now, so we know how to like kind of talk to the son. It doesn't work though. It's like almost like that friend that you have that you're trying to help out that just doesn't you can't help them and you have to give up. We all have that friend, you know.
I like to say like well, no, I shouldn't say it, but it's you know those people that are always complain, and they're always in the same spot. You know, que ay me pegó, pero and then she's still there. So it's you know you're better off doing other stuff, you know, with your energy and time. And I feel like everything's evolving so fast. Like you see AI, you know, ChatGPT, Google, everything. And us as business owners, we need to jump on that and educate ourselves on that, you know, especially I know your marketing business is being affected because, you know, a lot of the changes are with automation and stuff like that. So I'm a big proponent on studying and learning, right? I'm always trying to figure out how to do things better. You know, whether you're $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, $20 million companies, how do you get better? How you get more efficient? You know, and how do you, you know, do business like a good business person?
Yeah, it's really helped us actually with the AI and automation, because back then there was no automation, or there was, but it was like very expensive. So now, like past 4 years, we've been using automation and AI. We introduced like 2 years ago, just like subtly to test it out, and we've seen some really good results with it, especially with the automation. Like lead forms that come in and following up with people. A lot of the contractors, you know, you guys are busy, you're not answering every call, and so we got to follow up with that lead because it takes so much time and effort for us to run the ad. And when we do get the call and lead, we want to optimize those ads and find out what to turn on and off. But if they're not being answered, the only other way we could find out if it's good is by texting them and figuring out if they qualify. Because otherwise it's just like that other marketer that just says, oh, well, they filled out a form and they selected this button, but then that person never answers. And so automation can help, like have you connect with the call. It calls you to call the client. We just get creative with it depending on the client situation.
And it's the little things, you know, I always say the easy things to do are easy not to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the automations come in, you know, and the blogs, the everything, because, you know, our stuff is running 24/7, whether I'm here shooting a podcast or I'm, you know, somewhere else. And I'm big on that, you know, making sure that we have all those automations and the easy things are getting done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like with Google, for example, there's a lot of tedious things people do, the basics, right? Which is like negative keywords. And, you know, we pay our people pretty well. And so to have that guy go through like all the bad words, add them, and then make sure you're not found for it, it's takes up a lot of time, right? It's the easy stuff. So we tried it like a year ago, hiring somebody specifically for that, but they would grow into a campaign manager. They got tired of it after like a month. So then we kept doing that. That didn't work. So what we found out was just changing the actual title, your data entry, that's your job. And they like love it. It's easy now.
Well, a lot of people,
no longer a tedious task.
You know, for a long time, when I started my business in 2019, Yelp was really strong. And I remember one time I got in an argument with somebody at Yelp because I don't know if they were hiding my reviews or I forgot what or maybe a spam. And I told them, I was like, they were so rude on the phone, the guy from Yelp.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, you know what, dude? Like, you think you're the fucking last Coca-Cola or something like that. I told him, like, wait till you fucking die out, dude. Like, I was so mad at Yelp because he was just fucking rude, like basically saying, well, tough luck. And I was like, dude, what the F? Because they were the big player, you know, in 2019. Right now, it's Google, right? Google leads are really good, killer. But Google's getting greedy, as, you know, like every company. They're getting greedy now, and they're selling your leads. If somebody searches for, you know, landscape, now what Google's saying is, well, I can get you 5 other competitive bids. So it's kind of defeating the purpose of us ranking up our SEO, running our ads, if they're just going to offer it to 5 other companies, right? So the game is changing, and it's us as contractors, it's like, okay, figuring out what's our best lead generator, because that's how we keep the business alive, right? With all the leads. I know Ishmael at Nuve has a thermostat that the AC guys basically install it at that house. Once you install that thermostat, that house belongs to you basically, because anytime there's an issue with the AC or stuff like that, they're gonna go to that thermostat and it's gonna go directly to you without you paying Google, without them having to look you up online. It's a direct to the contractor.
Yeah, I think it can detect moisture now on that new one.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, a lot of contractors are always after that new lead, that new call, but they forget about the client that they sold like 6 months ago or a year ago. Yeah, the follow-up game. Like, it's super smart what he did with that, because now they can just follow back up with that client without having to text them. I mean, you can still do the text, the whole old school follow-up, but a lot of contractors, they forget that. And so with Nube, that's really helpful. That's going to help that lifetime value of the client, right? You come in, let's say that sale was like 180 from the ads. Well, when they come back to you and you upsell them a whole new system a year from now that ad that you paid, that you got that lead from, now it became like a $10,000, $12,000 job.
Yeah, like my customer acquisition cost, it's around $1,500 per customer. So if you have that thermostat, I mean, you don't have to pay those $1,500, right?
Yeah.
And then you have a happy customer, and then you get more customers. So yeah, I think it's pretty smart, and it just shows that whenever there's something that we feel like it's unjust, there's always something coming up, right, to circumvent that and meet that halfway.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's always innovation when there's, not oppression, right? But when there's, when you feel like something's unjust, like, what they're doing with the ads, and dude, they get a lot of money. How much does Google make a day? Like,
dude, I don't know, but I've seen it over the years, and it just gets more expensive every year. It just keeps going up. And I think a lot of it also, yes, Google has a bunch of lawsuits with trying to, play the system too.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also these private equity companies buying people out, and they don't care. They're just spending money. They're just upping the ads. It's a bid, right? You're trying to bid for a keyword. It's like going to an auction, buying a car, and somebody with the most money they don't care. They have infinity money. And so they just want to like waste your money, right? So they're just trying to get you to spend.
It's like the private equity, like there was maybe 2 years ago, they were really buying up a lot of companies for like, a lot of money. And it's crazy because either they're buying the houses, they're buying the businesses. Like, at the end of the day, I feel like ownership's important.
Yeah.
We could own something great, that produces, but yeah, private equity, I don't know, their get down.
Yeah, we get a little creative with it. We'll do like, to bring the cost down, we do a blend. So we'll have your typical, like, for general contractors, ADU contractor near me. But then we also have how much does it cost for ADU? That's more like top of funnel. And then we'll have a calculator, like a fake calculator, and it's a survey, and it says calculate your ADU costs in under 1 minute. And then it asks like how many rooms, full kitchen, and then it starts asking those questions, and they think they're getting to a price. And then it says based off of your answers, it looks like you need more of a custom quote. Somebody's going to call you shortly. And so that costs, those big dogs, they don't want that. They don't want costs. They want the leads. And so it helps us bring the cost down total so we can warm those leads up. And so there's like little tricks like that we do to kind of help combat that.
Do you ever work with companies that are like, have you heard those scammers that are like, they take everybody's money, like they're going to build an ADU and then they freaking bail?
Yeah, man. I have leads for my clients.
Came out on the news. It came out on the news, like this dude, and I think it was a couple somewhere in Orange County that they freaking, they took deposits.
Really?
I think it was over like $3 million. And it sucks because a lot of the people came out on the news. They're like, I'm building a house for my mother. Like, dude, like, who does that, bro?
Yeah.
You know? And they would take the deposits and bill the clients knowing they weren't going to finish the construction. Just like a lot of the pool contractors, they advertise, $60,000 pool or, $70,000 pool in California, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, there's no way. Like a lot of these guys, either they're gonna come in at 70,000 and then upbid it to 120 after you put the equipment. They're selling you a pool without water, basically. Oh, the water is gonna cost you an extra 5,000. Like, it, it's, it's one of those things where you, as a homeowner, it's good to educate them too, because as a homeowner, when you're buying a house or you're a homeowner, you only do these kinds of projects maybe once or twice in your lifetime, right? A big remodel or a big ADU or a big pool. Realistically, you're only going to do this maybe once or twice in your lifetime. So they don't know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
They don't know the shady contractor that's on the other side. My clients always say, like, Danny, the most expensive contractor is the wrong one. So when I have a potential client that tells me, Danny, somebody came in and bid the job $10,000 less or $15,000 less than you, I just think to myself, like, fuck, you don't know how expensive this is going to be. Because for me to fix this stuff, it's going to be expensive. I think to myself, because it's like, you should raise a red flag. Like, why is this guy so cheap?
It's the same with marketing. It's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, the business is the same.
Saw the websites that were built.
Yeah. Like, now you have to rebuild the whole site. The structure is set up wrong. Same thing, like maybe the pavers are not installed properly, or maybe they're not level. I'm not sure how that industry works when it comes to actually doing the fulfillment or the actual job. But I have seen those ads. Like, I seen the cookie cutter like pools, and then I seen other ads with cookie cutter pools and then a free barbecue like thing when you do the whole house. Like, it's so crazy what I'm seeing. I'm like, how are they getting those prices? And it's almost like it's the same thing with marketing, where these guys are just giving like a low price. You come in and then they realize, damn, I actually have like 20 clients I have to do this with, and I got to do everything, and eventually somebody gets lost.
Like, it's like when my clients tell me, Danny, this company is offering free design. I'm like, bro, at this point you should know nothing's free. Like, I tell them, free design or free waste of time.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, is it a free design or a free waste of time? He goes, why? He goes, because they're gonna fucking waste your time. They're gonna give you a render with no construction documents, no materials, no engineering. You're gonna waste 6 months. Like, I'm not here to waste your time. Yeah. And I'm not here to waste mine. And it's the same thing with the websites. Like, sometimes I have people that say, Danny, I just want a website that's más o menos. And I'm like, well, that's going to be your clients, más o menos, right? If you're doing a business, you want the best website. You want the Lamborghini of websites, you want the best. Why wouldn't you want the best?
Yeah. It's your brand,
it's your brand.
That's your representation. Especially when they go out and they spend all the money to get the actual lead. Then they go out and then they bid on the lead, and then the person has 3 bids, and they're sitting down with the wife, like right now, like at a table or whatever, and they're looking, okay, let's look at these companies, because maybe these 2 companies out of the 3 we want to like look at. And when they look at your website versus the other guy, it's like, who do you think they're gonna go with?
Yeah, that's why I'm big on branding.
Yeah,
marketing, the Instagram, everything. As business, you have to.
Helps close, especially like the architects that you said see your IG ads. Like, if they talk to somebody on the street and somebody asks them, just like maybe a friend, like they're for sure gonna like recommend you. Because
we've been blessed. We've been blessed here, and it's business, right? We've been learning as we go, and as long as you do good things, treat the clients right, I feel like you get far.
Yeah.
And then that's all the stuff we talk about, in the group and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy times.
Yeah. One thing, when I first met you in the group, probably, I don't know, 8 months before that, 7 months before that was the Freedom event. And, everybody's always going to Ishmael asking questions. And I kind of knew him a little bit, not really. And so I think he was barely getting, like creating his brand profile and everything. Yeah, his personal brand. Obviously, like, that guy's a beast, you know? And so
Don't tell him that because his head's gonna get bigger. But yeah.
well, I mean, I guess I'm gonna get his head. Well, I'm gonna talk about him right now. So basically, I asked him. I was like, "Hey, what do you recommend? I'm a marketing agency, and I'm trying to like scale my business." And he was telling me that all his buddies, all the influencer guys, or the people that in the community that are well known in the space, that they have their marketing guy that they refer each other to. And so he's like, "That's what you should do." And he said you should provide a free service or do something to show that you're good. If you're good at what you do, show that you're good. I was like, all right. And then I did it, and that was kind of like a big decision that really scaled our business. And here we are now, you know? Like it's so
like,
crazy.
It's like listen to what your wife tells you, because when somebody else tells you, like another contractor, you go implement it, but then the wife goes, "That's what I've been telling you this whole time you need to do."
That's what she was telling me. She's my girl was telling me, like, I've been telling you this the whole time, you know?
I'm the same way, dude. Like my wife would tell me stuff, and it's just I don't want to say it's not the right time. Sometimes you need to be at the right place at the right time. It's not that you don't want to listen. It's not that you don't take their advice seriously. It's just sometimes it's not the time.
Yeah.
Like, we were using Slack for a while, and then it's like, okay, boom, we fell off Slack. Then we started using Slack again. It's just things that, happen. Or sometimes it's not the right time, and you have to implement these things. But it's
like you're not ready for it yet in business. Everybody's in their own journey in business, is what I like to say. Because some people will say, hey, I have to they're just starting and they're kind of like a one-man operation and they want to charge Danny's prices. And I'm like, yeah, but you also need to get some money coming in so you could charge Danny's prices. You got to get, when Danny first started, he also started somewhere too. So you have to do the same thing. And so we'll be talking about how to sell and how to treat the leads and try to train them on the calls. And so what I like to say is each business is in their own phase. There's different stages. And depending how much money in revenue you're at, you're in a different stage of your business. You have operations when you're usually 1.5 to hit over that 3 mil. Then after that, it's hiring executives to 5 mil, and then it just keeps going from there. And so when they're in that small phase, when they're just trying to grind and get jobs and leads, go out, learn. You're going to make mistakes, but learn from it. And then that's how you're going to build your operation.
Yeah, I like to say make mistakes and learn fast.
Yeah.
Make mistakes fast, right? And learn from them.
Yeah.
I know people that take 5 years to make a decision. It's like, bro, 5 years? That's crazy. That's insane. I'll make 20,000 mistakes by the time you make one. But guess what? I already learned from them.
Yeah.
I already felt that. I already educated myself on that. I already went through the ringer. You don't have to tell me how hard it hurts.
Yeah.
I already felt that pain, and it just keeps evolving into that.
Yeah, we have a core value: own it, fix it, advance. Just own up to it, figure out what it was, fix it, and learn from it and advance.
And a lot of people feel like they have the whole fucking time in the world, dude. When people tell me, I'll do it tomorrow, I say, tomorrow doesn't exist. Do it today.
Yeah.
Oh, did you do? Oh, I'll do it. Why would you do it tomorrow? Do it today. Tomorrow, we're going to have 20,000 things to do.
They'll do the same thing. They'll try to task out for tomorrow. And we have use your team. And I'll go in there in Slack and I'll ask on the growth team. I'll be like, hey, Mac, are you able to take this task? And she's like, oh, yeah. And it shows them that they could have tasked it out to someone else to help them out because they want to take ownership of it, which is good. But you also utilize your team. That's all. That's another core value we have is use your team. Everybody's there to help each other out. There's a reason why we're a team. And it gets stuff done faster. It's just like the old email. You email the guy that emails the company for support and they wait a day. They wait 2 days and they don't get the email. Then they follow up again.
Yeah, dealing with the city.
It's dude.
That's every city. And
you got to get on them, dude. You got to get on them.
They're getting paid by the hour like DMV employees.
Yeah.
It's funny because people tell me, Danny, if you were to start over, what would you do? Or Danny, or even sometimes I get a couple haters in my DMs and be like, Danny, go do your business in Mexico and stuff like that. But it's okay, if I were to start over, the first thing I would do is bring my team.
You might crush it in Mexico, actually.
I might. I'm gonna go build some stuff.
You might do good.
So I always say I'm gonna build my team. that's the first thing I'm going to do, because people, I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and they're stuck under 1 million or just over 1 million. And it's like, dude, you need a team. You need people. Like we complain, we CEOs, when we meet, we're always complaining, right? Oh, the staff, the workers, but at the end of the day, without a team, what can you do? Right? Like every great person that you can think of always had, a team behind them, it's always a group of people that get stuff done. So people forget that in business. They want to do it all themselves. They want to, they don't want to deal with people. It's like, if you don't want to deal with people, you're not going to grow.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to do it. You also have to think about it too when you do it, because I've done it to where I've just hired positions just to hire positions, just because I feel like, oh, I created this new job or this new position. And so sometimes like somebody on your team, also keep an eye on your team too, to make sure that they're also, if they can handle it, or they're not stacked. Yeah, because sometimes you think they're overworked, but they're not. So you got to check in with your team and make sure. And so, because I've done it to where I'm like, oh, we need to do this. And then I'll just like find a new person, like I'll hire someone to like do it, because I have that whole production line mentality. But that's also really, I've lost a lot of money doing that too, where I'm like, man, I could have just had like the Google Ads guy come in here and do the tracking. Like there's no
right person.
Yeah.
Hire high instead of hiring low.
Yeah.
Sometimes like, well, I can get this guy. He can figure it out. I was like, dude, you don't have the luxury of seeing if it's going to work. You need to get that specialist, right? It goes back to the marketing. I hire you guys because I'm not going to take a chance on my cousin or somebody's friend that's not doing anything, that just got laid off. Oh, you have a computer? Why don't you run my ads? It's like, that's not how it works. How much money am I going to lose? People don't realize the money they're losing by not branding, by not marketing. Some people just don't track those kinds of things.
Yeah, I have a sweet spot when I hire. It's have you ran over 5 years of ads? And if they've tried to do their own business, that's even better. That's like the icing on the cake, because they know the hustle and the grind for a business owner. They know how hard it is and how every dollar counts, how much they worked for that money for the ads. So they're very price conscious when they're looking at the ads and they're spending. They're not just going to let the ads run and then follow up in it in a few days and be like, oh shit, like the ads ran for like 2 days and I haven't made adjustments, because that's very common in marketing. And so they're on it, and they're looking at the KPIs that a normal marketer wouldn't look at, which is like ROAS, ROI, return on investment, and they know how to communicate with the client too, because they can feel them. They know what that person's going through.
They know how important it is too. The client, the temperature.
Yeah,
we're on the same page, dude. We're in the same business,
because we all go through it. If you're a business owner, we're all the same.
Yeah,
it's a business is just numbers.
How many employees do you have?
18.
18, we have 18, 20.
18 employees right now. And
does your wife help you in the business?
No, I tried to have her help me. We can't do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me, because my wife helps me in the business, and it's good. Overall, I mean, it's good. I feel like it's good, but it depends on every situation, right? Because my wife is really good with money and managing and organizing. I'm not good at organizing, so I feel like we complement each other, but we got to stay out of each other's way too.
Yeah,
because if we try to sit together and try to come up with something, it's gonna be fireworks, dude. It's like a nuclear reaction. Like, it's not gonna work. So, I always enjoy. I mean, who better, right, than to be every day with my wife, get lunch and all that. So that's cool. Mm-hmm. But other than that, yeah, we try to, this is your role. This is your role in the company. You do you, and I'll do me. And it's like we run parallel.
Yeah, we were talking about trying it again, because we tried it one time, and it's just, I'm very particular with how I want things. And just based off of my experience, I know like, hey, I want it the specific way. And then she just...
And you don't want to second guess yourself either, right? Because then you have to run it by and be like, oh, I'm thinking of doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of the problem we had was, it's just how I want things a specific way. And like, she has to check in with me all the time to see if I'm like, want it that specific way. And eventually, It doesn't work out.
Yeah, and if it doesn't, it doesn't, right? It's at the end of the day, you want to balance those things out, right? The business, the family.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of young people right now. They're postponing starting a family, getting married. For some reason, there's no girls no more. Like girls don't exist.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard to find girls. That's the feedback I get from a lot of single bachelors.
Really?
Is that no, the girls right now they don't know what they want, and it's So I always tell young entrepreneurs that to make sure that they don't postpone their family, that they don't postpone their personal life to have a business, because a lot of the people that you see online, you know, that portray themselves as alpha and bachelors, like, come on, bro. Like, at some time you got to settle down, you got to start a family, and you can do both, run a business and start a family. I'm big on we only have certain seasons in life. We're pushing 38, so
Yeah.
we're both 87. So I have my 3 kids. Eventually my grandkids are coming. So there's certain, life cycles. I started when I was 20 or 21 with my firstborn. So
Yeah, I was 20.
20?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, and it's like one of those things that when I see young people, I don't care. People, sometimes my wife's like, don't tell them, like, what if they don't want kids? I was like, who doesn't want kids? Like, what do you mean? So I'm always big on that, because I know what they're missing out on.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know what they're missing out on. And it's something beautiful to have your kids and to, watch them grow as you grow. Like my business grew with my two boys, right? And now that we have a newborn, like he's enjoying the fruits of everybody's labor and everybody's sacrifice. But it's a beautiful thing to watch your kids grow and watch your business grow, and that's why a lot of the times on my post, on my stories, I put I already won, G. Like I already won.
Yeah.
Like I don't need anything else. I don't. What am I chasing? Like as long as I have a good household to come home to, dinner cooked, my kids are good. Like, dude, we already won. Like it's already mission accomplished. Everything else is extra. So sometimes we chase the bag, we chase that next milestone, right? We did 5 million, we could do 7, we could do 10, but I went to this spiritual retreat, and they talked about, you live life fast. Because a lot of us entrepreneurs, we're broken inside. Something in our head is off, right? For us to go through all this pain and sacrifices because we're trying to prove something to somebody, right?
Yeah.
And at the spiritual retreat, they talked about you're living life fast, but you don't know who you're taking with you. But they're not on the passenger seat. They're under your tires. And that really hit me, dude, because when I started my business, I was go, 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 go. But I got to understand that my family doesn't have the same risk tolerance. They don't have the same, the same mentality of suffering, for this and that. Like, and sometimes our partners are under our tires because we're going so fast. Our kids are under those tires. So that made me really realize, like, I gotta slow down.
Yeah.
I gotta balance things out now, not tomorrow, not when I buy the other house, not when because we always put these things in the carrot in front of us, right? Once I get that, I'll be good. You're never gonna be good. You're always gonna want something more.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, there's like seasons, and like I've gone through seasons where I forget that, and I'm locked in trying to get my business to that next number, and
your kids are growing
so hyper focused, and before I know it, my kids are, man, my 12-year-old, he went through that spurt that they go through. He's already almost as tall as me, and I'm like, damn, what happened? And it's been like 8 months of me just grinding, focused, and I lost a lot of time with them. And so, what are you working for? You start your business to be able to enjoy your life with your family, but then you realize that you're just working in your business your whole life, and you end up, if you don't do it right, you could end up losing your family.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
I see a lot of business owners that end up getting divorced, because they didn't spend time with their wives or their kids. And, you know, a lot of times people think that, oh, well, they have a roof over their head and I'm feeding them. But it's like, bro, that's not enough.
Yeah.
Like, you need that emotional time. You need that spiritual time. You need that personal connection with your sons and daughters. You know, they need that just like food and water.
Yeah.
And sometimes people think, well, I feed them. That's enough. Um, it's one of those things of learning how to be a man. You know, I think a lot of us try to be the best version of ourselves. But what is the best version, right? What is the definition of a successful man, right? Mine has changed over time. You know, I used to think I need to have this, I need to have this money, I need to have this house. But then I was like, no, a successful man is taking care of your family, that your kids are good, that emotionally, right? I remember when I started working in landscape, we were working at a house down in Carson. And dude, I didn't know anything about landscape, right? So there's the neighbor, he owns a landscape company. And he comes up to me and he says, oh, you're doing the gardening here? I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, well, I have this many trucks and I have this many employees. So he kind of starts, you know, puffing his chest on me that, you know, he has it made. And then across the street, there's like a kid walking. And I know that kid had broken into the house I was working on because he was a druggie. And he's all like, yeah, nomás que mi hijo no se pone las pilas. And then I was like, bro, like, you're telling me all your achievements here in business, but then the most precious thing you have is on the streets.
Yeah.
And that kind of, you know, dawned on me like, Danny, when you start your business, like, yeah, you want what's best, but don't lose focus on, you know, on the
Main
family, on the main goal,
Yeah.
your kids to be good, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not that he did anything wrong. It's just that, you know, something happened there, right? That kid ended up being on the streets and all that. You know, we all went through our rebel phase, but I just wanted to make sure that I didn't get to that point, right? That I don't go, well, look at my fancy car, my fancy house, but it's empty.
Yeah.
So having that balance, I feel like it's something that we're always fighting with internally.
Yeah, that's important, man. It's something that I'll remind myself, and like anybody else, you know, you get stuck a little bit, but you got to back up and kind of like take the blinders off and like just remember that you got your family, and just getting in that cycle and that groove of being able to have that schedule of going with your family. And so that's something that I also had. It's kind of like a connection with someone here at one of your events, you know, came over and he just passed the message to me, which reminded me, because for the last 3 months, I've just been like locked in, zoned in, trying to grow my company, you know, trying to like help contractors with AI. We're building this AI that we want to make sure that it's working properly, and we're testing it, and we want to make sure. I want to be a part of it. I want to be a big part of it. It's going to take a lot of my time. And so what I thought was going to be like a month ended up being like 3, 4, 5 months.
Anything in construction takes longer.
Yeah. And so, and that was like a little reminder, you know, to kind of back up a little bit and just like remember why you're doing all of this.
Yeah.
And yeah.
The rat race is for rats.
Yeah.
Sometimes we forget that, right? We go right on the hamster wheel.
And there's a lot of them in Irvine.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of rats, right? Yeah, Irvine's pretty nice. I like Irvine. Orange County, you know, grew up over there.
Yeah.
But we're here in LA now, South Bay. And it's pretty cool over here, too.
I like it out here.
My kids like it. Yeah, my kids don't leave. I guess San Pedro is like very multi-generational. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of Croatian, Mexicans. So it's, I guess people don't leave. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I like Orange County, but yeah, my kids are like, nope, we're staying here. So
have you ever had Croatian food?
Dude, I haven't. No.
I think they make this oxtail that's bomb.
Really?
Yeah.
Jamaicans too, I heard it's oxtail.
Yeah, oxtail is good.
Yeah?
Yeah. My youngest, his son is Dominican, so they used to do oxtail too.
Really?
Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah, we're not so experimental on food, you know. It's Mexican food, you know. Indian food's pretty good. The curry.
Really?
Yeah, spicy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we keep it simple. Tacos, beans,
Yeah, there's a like a Thai food place by the office. Have you had Thai?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I like Thai.
Thai's good.
Or pho,
Yeah,
I don't know how to say it, but pho. Yeah, it's good.
caldo
So
chino.
in Irvine, it's basically you have your operation in Orange,
Yeah,
so you work off Orange.
yeah. Work in Orange. I stay in Irvine. That's where I live. And so when I was on our call yesterday, that's what I was talking about, the rats. Basically, there was just a bunch of trees around, like with planters around them, and
Bro, you acting like you never seen a rat
everywhere. I know from Santa Ana. It's been a while, dude. But man, it was like right there by my foot, like that big. So, but yeah,
So what part of Santa Ana you grew up on?
off of Ramona and so Flower and Warner, right there
Flower.
by Saddleback and
Flower. Okay, Flower. No, yeah, I went to Saddleback.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
Saddleback High School.
yeah. I went there too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Roadrunners.
yeah. Runners. I went to Saddleback and then I went just for like a year. I went to McFadden, then I went to Saddleback, and then I got in a little trouble. So I went to there was like a continuation school in Bristol. I went there for like a year and then I went back. So
It's funny because when I was in continuation school, my teacher said, "Danny, I want you to experiment high school." I was in 10th grade. I was going to be a sophomore.
yeah,
She gave me the credits. I mean, this is past the
Yeah.
statute of limitations, so this is she gave me the credits so I could go to regular high school. And I think I lasted like 3 weeks and then I got kicked out.
yeah,
Yeah, but I went to high school, I guess. But yeah, I was, just young, growing up in Santa Ana. It's pretty crazy over there. Grew up, predominantly. I mean, growing up, everybody in school and everywhere is Mexican, right? I mean, I thought I was in Mexico basically. I didn't know anything different.
Yeah.
Growing up with the Mexican community.
yeah. All my neighbors, you have your little friends right there, and I had my neighbors. I'll go over there. The moms always like welcome me with warm hands, like, "Hey, do you want to eat? Are you hungry?" That's what I love about the Mexican culture. I love it. My mom is not Mexican. My mom's white, and then
So where's the last name Paniagua?
my dad.
Mexican?
Yeah, no. So, all right. So, my dad I was raised with the Salvi.
Salve?
So I thought I was from El Salvador, and then my dad passed away, and like a year later, my mom told me like, "Oh, he wasn't your dad."
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
So you had like some Rosa de Guadalupe, like
yeah.
really? Dude, you didn't know?
No, I
So
didn't know.
you grew up with somebody thinking he was your dad for
I
how long?
was his right hand man. He was like, I
Well,
was,
he knew, obviously, right?
yeah. I'm sure. Yeah.
What if he didn't know?
I don't know.
Dad, your mom holds some secrets. Huh?
Yeah. My mom was partying, so my mom. But yeah, my mom. So like, it was a few years after, like probably like 3 years after. She let me like kind of like, because when my dad passed, I was like always with my dad. He was a mobile mechanic, and I would go with them everywhere. I was like, that's where I realized how.
Right hand man.
Yeah, like my older brother was always like, kind of in the house. My sister was in the house in the room. And yeah, so I think she held it for a little bit, and then she finally told me. And so my real dad, he's like somewhere in prison, but he's from Tijuana, and so like I have like Mexican blood, but I was raised Salvi, so I can eat pupusas, and I go over there and I visit my aunt. She's still my aunt, I still call her my aunt from El Salvador.
And your mom's white.
And my mom's white. Yeah, my mom's from Iowa.
Iowa, but what about like her descendants? Irish, Polish, German.
You know what? I never checked, but like my grandpa and my grandma, my grandpa was from Kansas. He's like a boxer, and then my grandma was from Iowa too. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I don't know how they
crazy.
met somehow. Oh, they met through like her sister. Her sister was dating like the brother of the guy.
From Iowa, she made it all the way to California.
Somehow they all went over there home, went to Cali, right there on Ramona Street in San Juan.
Out of all the places, you had to land in Santa Ana, right?
Yeah.
I always trip out because my parents, they came from Michoacan, and dude, we were like, I mean, they were right. They were like, it was hard, dude, growing up. Like they were broke like. I'm not lying, dude. Like I saw where they were raised, and it's like a dirt lot with like a wooden house, like no running water. They would tell me stories about them eating tortillas con sal because they didn't have any food. So I'm very proud. I'm very, humble in that sense, that we come from that. That just gives me more drive, seeing how far they've come. And, landing in Santana, I feel like it must have been a new place for them. They didn't know anything about gangs and, none of that. They were just trying to put food on the table for their kids. And it must have been, I mean, it's just very hardworking, right, in general. With everything going on, I was born here in Orange County as well, so I'm Mexican American, but with everything going on in the community, like it really does, get me mad. And sometimes that's why I get in a little trouble sometimes when I'm posting and all that, I lost like 10,000 followers on Instagram. Like,
Damn.
yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, there's always one answer to the other. And like for me, like I grew up too, like with my dad. We actually had a little room, and when people will come from El Salvador, he would give them a room. He'd teach them how to be a mechanic, and then eventually they would do their own mechanic stuff. And so I saw that like probably like 5 or 6 times. And so seeing somebody work really hard, come from nowhere, and then start, make money to survive and start a family, and they get taken away from the family, like, and then be like, just because of whatever reason, you want to continue like backing Trump up after that, and just like being stubborn about like, hey, like, I don't understand what it is that goes through their head, but it just that really bothers me like a lot.
Yeah, and it's not something that I like talking about because I know it's so divisive, but then at the same time, it's like something that I feel like it does need to be talked about, right? Because there's nobody saying anything. Like, dude, there's so many artists, all the stuff going on. Like, you say you're going to release the Epstein files, but then you say you're not going to release them. And like a lot of the podcasters, a lot of the comedians back them up. And it's like, dude, like, it's in your face, bro. Like, at this point, if you don't want to see it, like, I don't know what to tell you. Keep telling yourself that.
Yeah.
It's
good. Like you started a cult. Like literally, like
that, I think that's what the definition is. A cult.
Yeah.
Like if I voted for Obama and you tell me Obama droned all these people and Obama deported all these people, me as a rational human being, I'm like, you know what? That's not who I voted for. I do not agree with him no more. I don't support him anymore. Yeah. Like, it's a cult.
Yeah.
And I'm a big history buff. And dude, I remember when I was doing gardening in LA, like Beverly Hills, there was, I don't know why, dude. And I always feel like it's supernatural, spiritual. God puts people in your journey. There was a Jewish man, and I'm doing the gardening, dude. I'm a gardener. I have a green shirt. I have my trash can and my rake. And I see him walking around like he wanted to talk to me. And I don't know how we ended up talking, right? And then I saw that he had the tattoo with the numbers.
Got it. Yeah.
So he was actually in one of those camps, internment camps, or those. And I told him, I was like, "Why do you think Hitler convinced so many people to do these things? Because it wasn't Hitler putting them in the gas chambers or putting them in these camps. It was the German soldiers. It was the German people, right, that supported this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they go to Hitler, but Hitler had people that followed his orders, right? And I told him, I was like, why do you think they did that? The Germans. And he told me, dude, he's like, they loved him. That's all he said. They loved him. And exactly when he said that, I thought about Trump.
Yeah.
I said, they love him.
Yeah.
They fucking love him. Dude, they're in love.
That's true. Yeah.
I've gotten fights and arguments with people like if I was talking about their dad. And they're Mexican. And they're defending him more than their own family. And they love him. This Jewish guy told me, he's all like, they loved him. They loved Hitler. Like, they didn't question him. They went through that extreme, right, to do those horrible things because of the love they had, because he was their savior. Dude, that's crazy.
Damn.
And now you see what's going on now. It's like a cult. They love him.
Yeah, it's like they got the blinders on.
Yeah,
Basically.
it's like when you tell the guy, dude, that girl's cheating on you. Nah, bro, that's her cousin. Like, she loves me, you know? It's like, no, bro, she's playing you. Like, nah, dude. And, it's one of those things, right? And I still talk, I still have friends that are Trump supporters. Well, not really friends, but, I know people, associates that are still, still towing the line, I guess. They're still standing on their beliefs. And, I feel like everybody has a chance to be wrong, right? And so are those people, that are still supporting him. Hopefully, eventually they come around and realize their mistake before it's too late.
Yeah,
But
man.
it's one of those things that we're gonna be okay regardless. Whoever's in power, we're gonna be okay. We always figure out a way. Whether it's eating tacos or eating steak, we're fine.
Yeah. Just got to take care of your own, like I just learned to kind of zone out a little bit out of that. I actually unfollowed a lot of accounts so I can not have to, like, when I do go on IG, I'm not fed information on either ends.
Or TikTok.
Or TikTok, yeah.
What, didn't TikTok get bought already, or it's going to be a whole different algorithm, I think?
Yeah, I haven't actually looked into that. I've been off social media, like on TikTok. I've been more on IG, just kind of randomly scrolling to kind of get
ideas.
Yeah, and that's about it.
Yeah, those algorithms get you. That's what they're supposed to do, right? Pull the strings.
Yeah.
Make you upset. Dude, I have so many drafts on my Instagram that I don't even post because I know I'll get canceled. Like if I post them because I'm so fucking mad, I'm just putting all this stuff. I'm like, put it as a draft. Hopefully I don't accidentally post it, but I think it's good to stay off social media because they will feed you bad stuff, trash.
Yeah, because then you'll do those drafts like you said. It's like that client that you kind of know that like you want to send that message out and you kind of like save it. You're like, nah. It's like it'll get you heated that way too, because it's like why is this person, why are they doing this? Like, not to keep talking about it, but like I don't know if this is like how they how they went about this, because like I said, I'm not like following the politics world as much anymore, but I heard like they're naming these protesters Antifa now, and now it's like they're a terrorist group now. And
that's a slippery slope, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how people on the right, justify it, because it's going to come back so fucking hard.
It's be a civil war, dude. I feel like that's why I've been saying, like, from the get-go of this, I'm like, dude, this is going to start, like, a big problem,
what's going to happen is pretty soon a military member in our military in the United States is going to kill a U.S. civilian on a U.S. city. And there's going to be a group of people that justify it. You know how scary that is? Like that whole Charlie Kirk thing, like that thing, people laughing and people advocating. Like at the end of the day, this is a free country, freedom of speech. Nobody should get killed over their beliefs. It's happened to Malcolm X. It happened to Martin Luther King. It happened to Charlie Kirk, even if I don't agree with 99.9% of the stuff he says. It still shouldn't be political violence where you kill somebody because, at the end of the day, he's a father and, at the end of the day, he's a human being. He has a right to say what he wants to say, even if it's hateful, even if it's not politically correct. I'm saying stuff that bothers people. So it's, you have to have that freedom of speech, that freedom of opinion, and you need to be tolerant of other people's opinions, right? If there's a Trump supporter walks in, I'm going to hold the door for him. I'm not gonna slam the door. I'm not gonna spit in his face for what? We have to tone it down. And it's exactly what you said about Antifa. There's a lot of people on the right wing on podcasts after Charlie Kirk got murdered. Oh, the fucking left, the radical left, and these guys, they need to be taken out. So they're stoking up more violence. You don't even know who killed them yet, right? And you're already agitating more people. It's like, you need to calm down. And they're trying to pander to their audience because, the more they fucking say there's going to be a civil war and get you mad at the left, it's more views for them. So they're just agitating on both sides, and it's getting to the point that, nobody talks about the billionaires no more. Nobody talks about the pedophiles no more. Everybody's talking about the radical left and the extreme right, and that's our worst enemy. But in reality, a lot of people are still living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of people can't afford insurance. A lot of people are struggling. And whose fault is that? It's the government trying to distract you, right? Try to put you against each other.
Yeah, and that's and you know who gets affected from this is the businesses, because once all that happens, all the small businesses, economy is going to start crashing, tanking, and then the small businesses start going down, start tanking with it, right? And
It's gonna be like those rats in Irvine just running around.
That book, the Doomsday
Conspiracy.
Yeah, the Doomsday Conspiracy, like that's what it talks about, is how the government has so much control and like what you really think is going on isn't. And
I mean, you hear all this stuff.
It's conspiracies, but you know, it was weird how I just walked to my car and like saw that book, and I'm a firm believer in like signs, and so yeah, I mean it makes sense. I mean, because you know, you route people up, right? You route people up, you get them agitated, you get them against each other, and then who gets affected is the small businesses
And the people at the bottom, which is all of us.
Yeah.
Right? We're all struggling. We're all, trying to get by. And, we're all getting taxed the same, bro, whether you're left or right. If you're at the bottom 98%, you're still getting taxed the same. They're still taking half our money. Whether you're white, brown, black, Asian, half our money is going to the government. And what are they funding? Wars. What are they funding? Other countries. Like, it's the same game, whether it's left or right. It's all just bought,
We could still fight like rats, I guess.
We're gonna end up fighting like rats over there in Irvine, But yeah, no, it's at the end of the day, I feel like we just have to be kind to each other, and put yourself in other people's shoes and their predicaments, and try to understand, right? It's try to lower the temperature, because I feel like this country is going down a very dark time, and it doesn't help anybody to be stoking up the rhetoric, calm it down.
It's definitely a slippery slope, like you said.
Yeah.
And one bad slip can mess everything up. And so I think it's good. That's why I just kind of like zone out and try to just use it for education and marketing purposes, and that's it. I just lock in and stay with my family, make sure my family's good, work on my business, and work with communities, like join these groups.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I learned from somebody, Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah.
He was talking about, the philosophy, and he said, 2025 is really bad right now. We feel like it's the end of the world, the end of this country. 1945 felt like that. 1000 BC felt like that. There's always going to be bad stuff. You just got to focus on what you're doing. Be that operator you need to be. If you're a baker in 2025, make sure you bake the best cakes. If you're a construction guy, make sure you do the best builds. If you're a marketer, make sure you do the best marketing. At the end of the day, it's not going to be the end of the world. We're still going to be here, but we just got to focus on the stuff that matters, right? The stuff that moves the needle, and, that you're working on.
Definitely. Marcus Aurelius is I've read his books a lot. I actually journal in the mornings.
Oh, really?
And I always take like one of his quotes from the book, and I use that for the day, and that's kind of like what I'll stick with. And so it's actually I like his books. He has really solid.
It's really
books.
crazy.
It really helps out.
I'm big on reading too, so
like makes you a better man, better person.
Yeah, I always recommend people read books, download that information. I feel like every time I read a book, I upgrade myself a little bit, download all that info in my brain, and then try to apply it, the best I can.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and like there's different books for different stages in business. Like the last guy that I talked to, he's in a stage where he's like growing his business and he's scaling and he's trying to hire. But I'm telling them, hey, like slow down a little too. Like you don't want to overhire. And so for him, I recommended Profit First. That's a good book.
Who Not How is really good too.
Who Not How?
Yeah, that's all about delegation.
Yeah. And profit first is, remember, like, you also got to make sure that you're taken care of too. So, like, in order for the business to succeed, you also need to make sure that your basics are taken care of. So you got to make profit first before you're able to start higher.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people forget about.
Yeah, you go in that circle of like, well, let me just keep growing it and I'll just pay myself later. But when do you get paid? So
5 years from now.
Yeah. So you try to price it right so you can, profit.
It's all numbers game.
Yeah. It's all businesses.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of numbers.
All right. Well, I think we had a good
cool
thank you. Yeah. Thank you for coming here, and we'll do another one.
Yeah.
We'll catch you at another event.
Yeah, this is a good one. A lot of people have been asking for this, so finally you're doing it. So it's
I don't know if it's such a good idea because I said a lot of stuff that I wasn't supposed to, but it has to come out somehow.
I was prepping you. For the next one.
So thank you, Chris.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Let's get it going.
Sick.